Hello and welcome. Hopefully, the last 2 weeks have been full of blessings. Messages for this week. So, the one that came out directly was the Queen of Pentacles. So, um, you're receiving a very firm place to sit. Just stabilizing certain things. The Ten of Swords kept wanting to come out, and Justice is underneath of that. And so the clouds are finally breaking away. Whether it's been emotionally, financially, physically, or mentally, you've been weathering a very dark storm. And the light is finally poking through. You're finally going to start receiving the rewards for the work that you've been putting in. You've been watched very closely during this dark storm, and although at certain points it may not have seemed at first like you were being protected, you were, and you still are being watched over and protected. And it's sort of like waking up from a dream. You're waking up from this to this. There's still work to do, but this is finally behind you. And this is what's ahead. I feel like something that will make you feel a little bit lighter is making peace with things that maybe you're uncomfortable with, something that you haven't really forgiven yourself for yet. Um, there are burdens that you do not need to carry anymore. And just allowing yourself to set yourself free. So, as far as manifesting things, believing that that new chapter is there for you, you know? Maybe you feel like you failed because it's not here yet. Maybe you feel like you're not good enough for it. But whatever we need comes to us in the correct form and the correct time period. If it's not ripe, then it's not very sweet, right? Now, when I was trying to shuffle the deck earlier, I forget which one came out, but it was essentially about like you're not for everybody. Um, because it so serving the world by being you and not there's going to be certain situations, certain people in your life where you're going to question yourself. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt who you are. You're going to doubt your beliefs, your morals. And sometimes we get put into other people's lives for them to grow. For them to see things about themselves. I guess it's not always about you, right? And with that being said, I think you might be missing who you used to be. Oh, yep, here it is. It came out. And I think by not only realizing that you shouldn't have to sacrifice your self-confidence, who you truly are, your beliefs and your morals just to fit in with somebody else or something else. I think you're going to find who you used to be, in a good way. Because I mean, scientifically, like we're all products of our environment, you know. And if you've been around, you know, maybe a certain friend group, work group, maybe you work for like an organization or something, you tend to unknowingly get molded and conformed to them, and you start to forget what your guidelines were. And whether it's with friends, family, work, business, anything, you know, you might have signed a certain contract with them, but there was also a contract with you. And you need to honor your contract as well. I'm going to take the full moon anyway. So we have Star Child and Full Moon. I'm going to read the book for both of these. Um, but finding the magic within, the magic that has always been there. And with Full Moon, Um, not only feeling whole and complete again, but realizing that by you taking your own path, taking your own throne that has always been yours, you are your light, you know? So, this healing mandala brings forth guidance on the star children who are, have been, and will continue to grace your Earth. Your planet is receiving unprecedented numbers of highly evolved star children who are anchoring love within and upon the earthly realm. Children are being their whole selves as never witnessed before as they live in accord with their innate wisdom. Open hearts and open minds are called for as you allow these children to lead the way, paving the future with the mortar of love and bricks of silver and gold. If you have children, this mandala has come to remind you of the advanced souls you share your journey with and to encourage you to complete the following healing exercise. This healing meditation will help your children integrate and stabilize their energy fields as well as to remember their soul's chosen path and their role as a teacher. The earthly realm can come as a shock to many of them as they have never felt the planet in such a state before. The 7 directions, 2 solstices, 2 equinoxes are linked within every being, but the star children are instinctively more aligned than those that have come before them. The star children are symbolic of both the stars and humanity's earliest attempts to understand and communicate. The order and unity inherent in creation. As liquid light, they breathe life into the very essence of each walking human. Their gold and silver footprints leave trails of pure love upon the fresh earth. If you are not a parent, then this mandala has come to guide the star child within you, so that at no time are you lost. Recognition and acknowledgement are for an ego wishing to diminish your brilliance. It is suggested that you complete the healing mandala exercise and remember to be the light. After all, the light you see at the end of the tunnel reflects your own light, your own brilliance. Listen with your heart and move forward with love. If you are reading this healing for your children, the following exercise is simple, as star children respond very quickly to the energy contained within this mandala. If the child is of young age, simply place this card under his or her bed for the next 3 days. For teenagers and adults, lie down and place the mandala on the third eye. Then, with closed eyes, focus on deep breathing and visualize a deep green 8-pointed star appearing within the mind's eye to form a green band around the head. Imagine the star becoming a green column of light that cloaks down over the body. One of the roles of the 8-pointed star is to help people see themselves as they never have before. To finish this exercise, rest within this ray until it starts to fade. More so than a healing, this meditation will kindle the light that gives you life. When you are ready, bring your awareness back within the room and journey on. And for the full moon, this mandala is guiding you to connect with the cycles of Grandmother Moon, especially the phase of the full moon. Every 28 days, Grandmother Moon shines in full grandness upon the shadows you have allowed to creep into your heart. She does so to guide us to release the burdens and all that no longer serves. Humans are creatures of habit, and over time, humanity has become accustomed to carrying stories, beliefs, and fears, some of which can become unwanted, unnecessary baggage. During accelerated times of learning, as we each shift in consciousness, we are creating new ways of being within the physical self, and may find it necessary to let go of aspects of our old selves. For eons, people have honored and celebrated the full moon and the light she brings into our lives. This card is a reminder of how important it is to celebrate this journey called life and to let go of all that is holding you back. Allow the wings of the dragonfly to carry all that you release back into the moonlight, where the ancient mother turtle carries it on to the sisters of the night sky. This card indicates a time of dance and celebration as you move forward, lighter on your feet. Your connection with the earth is deepening. Love for self and your spirit are expanding the infinite relationship you share with your heart and the heart of all that is. And the ancient dragonfly was on the top of the deck as well. Ooh. The ancient dragonfly mandala contains the flower of life, the intertwining infinity symbols, and the flower of life represents one's core self. Each infinity symbol is an energy center that holds the pure vibration of love, power, and wisdom, as above, so below, as within. As creatures of habit, humans carry many thousands of years of learned behavior within their cellular memory. These behaviors are not true to your being. As you step further along your path and choose to grow and raise your vibration, it becomes ever more important to love and thus let go of learned behaviors with appreciation for the lessons learned. Ancient Dragonfly lies between worlds with grace. She is light, balanced within her center, and she is free. She is the center of, and therefore makes up the flower of life. Your nature is an infinite being, is light, transparent, joyous, balanced, and loving. Everyone is blessed with the ability to let go of learned behavior at any given time. The choice is always yours. Ancient Dragonfly is with you, asking you to be true to your infinite nature. To do so, notice behaviors within yourself that are limiting. Filter each one of those behaviors through the gateway of the heart. It is within this space that you will find Ancient Dragonfly, ever ready to assist you in loving and releasing all that doesn't serve you. To truly let go, love something wholly, and set it free. Fly free, my friend. So, the dog here, right? I feel like part of you is protective of what you want to let go of. Maybe you're afraid to let go of certain things, but make peace with it, appreciate what it has taught you, and just drop it off that cliff. Okay, so pulled out 22. And we have 7. So 22 is endurism. If you have drawn the sigil right now, you are enduring something that you should not be enduring. You are probably telling yourself that it is good enough. Think about these common sayings. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. No pain, no gain, or it is what it is. These sayings all have one thing in common. They help you to release resistance to a situation where you feel helpless to get out of a painful circumstance. Releasing resistance is a good thing. So, where is the harm in saying these things? The harm is that they can serve as justifications for not actively making changes so as to move beyond a painful situation. They can serve to keep you stuck in pain. We know the danger of escapism. We know the pain of being around a fair-weathered friend. We feel the frustration of spiritual bypassing. Many of us have a fairly good grasp of this concept that running away from pain and from things that scare us is not the way to create a fulfilling life. But we need to be aware that there is danger at the other side of the spectrum as well. There is danger in becoming attached to pain, unwilling to leave it. This is endurism. Endurism is just as unhealthy as escapism. It is a coping strategy for dealing with the perception that you are helpless to have your needs met, but it is one that ensures you will spend your life coping with a painful life instead of creating a life you enjoy. We believe there is serious virtue in suffering. We stay in situations and perpetuate situations that are causing us pain so we can feel as though we are good and are doing what's right. In endurism, we are in fact escaping something that is the fear of making a change and the responsibility required to actually make that change. Our ego fears that by making the change that will enable us to progress and reach our joy, we will become a bad person, and therefore lose connection with the people and things we want to be connected to. In relationships, we develop the idea that if someone loves us, they will endure any amount of pain to be with us. And in the opposite scenario, if we love someone, we will endure any amount of pain to be with them. In fact, over the course of our relationships, we may even begin to incrementally cause other people pain and put them in painful situations with us. We are doing this subconsciously but deliberately to try to create the experience of someone loving us so much that they will endure anything to be with us. They may also be doing the same to us, and we are enduring it. Be aware that when you look at the endurism, you are engaging in relative to your life. You are going to become very defensive. You are going to find all kinds of reasons why it is good or right to perpetuate your painful situation. Your reasoning and preventing progress. Your reasoning is preventing progress. You have plenty of incredibly valid reasons to justify your endurism. No one is trying to convince you that your reasons are not valid, but your valid reasons aren't good enough to justify living a miserable life. In this situation, you are on a boat in the ocean. You don't like that boat, so you desire a different boat. So it comes, but you still won't get off your old boat. You have lots of reasons for not getting off of your old boat. So the universe says, I'm going to have to make it easier for them to get off their old boat and onto the new one. So I'm going to poke holes in the old boat. But when the boat starts to spring leaks, instead of jumping on the new boat, you run around trying to patch up the holes on your old boat. Eventually, the only way to get you onto the new boat is for the universe to quite literally sink your boat, so you end up in the water with the choice to drown or get on the new boat. If you have drawn this sigil, become acutely aware of the situations in your life you think you have to endure. Get really aware about the excuses you make to justify enduring those situations. Look for ways you actually do have a choice in the situations you feel stuck in. Look at things you could actually do to make a change. Take your power back. Taking your place, right? And 7 is meaning. If you have drawn the sigil, you have assigned a meaning to the situation or an experience that is part of this situation. That is not the actual meaning of the experience or situation. People search for a way of interpreting the implication of every experience in their lives. Seeking out the meaning of experiences is an advanced form of consciousness, but as we know all too well, there are pitfalls to advancement. The ability to derive meaning is both something that sets our species apart as an evolved and rapidly expanding facet of consciousness, as well as what causes us to self-destruct. The quality of our experience is flavored by one thing, and that is the meaning that we assign to the experience. It is critical to recognize that there is a difference between what actually happens and the meaning of what happens. We must see that the meaning does not inherently exist in the world in and of itself. Therefore, meaning does not inherently exist in a situation. It is an interpretation, and it is best not to confuse interpretation with truth. If meaning does not inherently exist in an experience, we must and do assign it to the experience. Then we mistake the event and the meaning of the event for the same thing. You can destroy your whole life based on the meaning you assign to an event. For example, imagine that a 3-year-old girl asks her dad to play dolls, but he is on the phone. He yells at her to stop bugging him. This is a traumatic experience for her at 3 years old. She takes it personally. Now let's pretend the meaning she assigns to this event is, I am insignificant to my dad. That was not the meaning of the experience of the event for the father. The meaning for the father was, I'm busy right now. But the moment that little girl assigns that meaning to the event, it is as if a colored lens comes up over her eyes from that moment on. All things that happened between her and her father are filtered through that colored lens. The truth is now colored and distorted by the perception that the meaning creates. Every time something happens between the father and daughter that causes her to feel bad, it will automatically strengthen that meaning she's perceived her life through. The colored lens gets thicker and thicker until anything that doesn't reinforce it cannot pass through. This father could really love his daughter more than anything in his life and do all kinds of loving things, but it will not matter because all his actions are now being filtered through the lens of the meaning she adopted at 3 years old. The father has no idea why she is so angry with him as she grows up. The girl in this scenario is likely to grow up believing she is insignificant to men, just like she was to her dad, and will end up in relationships with emotionally unavailable men, wondering why her self-esteem is so low. Looking at this analogy of the colored lens, doesn't this account for why two people perceive the same thing so differently? If you have drawn this sigil, the painful meaning you assign to the situation, or to an experience that is part of the situation, was never the actual meaning of the situation or experience. What you must consider is that you've been punishing people or avoiding them for a meaning that you yourself assigned to that experience with them. What you must consider is that much of the pain you are experiencing in this situation is not because of what you actually experienced, but because of the meaning you've assigned to that experience. Ask yourself, what am I making this mean? Then question that meaning so that you can discern the difference between what is actually happening and what you think the meaning of the experience is. So the eagle kept coming out every time I would shuffle it, so I kept that one out. So, balancing your divine masculine, I guess keeping it in check. Um, Great Teacher also came out. So this is also just making peace with the past and I guess recognizing from like an outward perspective what actually happened back then to make you feel the way you do now. Higher perspective, right? I guess an unemotional perspective, unbiased perspective. And by releasing the past and your guilt, you'll be able to walk your path with ease. Because you have a lot of options and it's up to you. But it's going to, no matter what choice you make, it's going to be hard if you don't drop that baggage. And I don't think you're afraid of dropping that baggage. I think you're afraid of what's in the bag. But in order for you to let it go, you have to look at it. But don't be afraid of who you are. You have so much power and love and light within you. And if you're channeling it to the wrong things, it's going to leave you drained. But when you channel it to the right things, it leads you to higher places. I hope that helped, and I hope you have a blessed week.